Hi everyone and happy Friday. I know a lot of people are enjoying a snow day today, or your kids are home and you're trying to balance work and all of that stuff. But today we're going live to talk about publicity rights in Mexico. And I'm really excited with my friend Jose, who's here. Hey, Jose. I'm going to bring you up now. Yep, perfect.
Oh my God. Wait 1 second. Oh my God. Sorry, 1 second.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh no,
1 second. Let me see.
we're both like struggling.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm
I
trying
had
to.
my
I
headset
have.
on. I realized I was just talking. I don't even know where my headsets are. Let's see.
I have no idea what's happening. 1 second.
Yeah.
Is it,
You may need to turn your
one
camera off,
second.
or you can jump
I don't know if
out real.
it's. Yeah.
Hey guys. Okay, so today's topic is publicity in Mexico.
That's my house. If you
Right.
see my house, that's my house.
Oh, I want to see more of it.
Maybe you can see me like that.
Yay! How are you,
Okay.
my
I'm
friend?
sorry. Fine, thank you. How's everything?
Oh my gosh, it is so crazy. And we have been trying to do this. I think I've rescheduled like a million times, and then it was snow day today, and our son is home, daycares are canceled, school's canceled for a lot of people, and I'm like, we're gonna make this work. We're just gonna do this.
Yeah, I know we have been postponing this because I have things, you have things, but it's a pleasure being in your venue. I see you a lot. I hear you a lot, and congratulations for this.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a wild year, and I want to introduce everyone to you because Jose, you really are someone really big in the intellectual property space. If you are a trademark
I don't
attorney,
I, I don't know if, I don't know if I'm very big, but
you're
but
big.
well, I tried.
You're big. I'm going to embarrass you with your bio. For anyone who's ever been a trademark attorney or who went to INTA, you definitely have either met Jose or you've been to his famous parties that they throw. I'm sure you guys miss INTA. Like,
Exactly.
can't
I
wait to get
know,
back.
and I'm trying to convince the people at the firm to so we can do the party in Washington. But the issue is that I don't know. I think it's gonna be like a hybrid. So I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of people. So it's gonna be we're seeing what we're gonna do for INTA, but I don't know how it's gonna be. Are you gonna be there
When is it? When is it again?
at the end of April?
I probably personally won't be there because I'm having another kid. But
Obviously, yes.
I feel like I just got off the phone. People are ready. People are ready to kind of get back in. They're vaccinated. There's boosters. People are itching to kind of get stuff started up again.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm gonna be in DC next week. I'm gonna go do a deposition with a client. So I'm gonna be there. So I'm gonna go check out the venues and to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you got if there's gonna be a party, you're gonna throw it.
I hope. Hopefully we will. Hopefully we will.
Oh my gosh, no, it's amazing. Okay, I want to introduce everyone to you. Jose Arochi is currently up from your LinkedIn. I just want to make sure you're still an associate at Arochi and Linder.
Still, still. I haven't seen. I
Amazing.
haven't had. I haven't got any news yet.
Yeah. Well, he's still
Hopefully, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
um hopefully soon when you make that big announcement, we'll have to go back on here live. And also, you're the regional VP of Americas at Gala, Global Advertising Lawyers Agency. So that's super interesting.
Yes, which is an association that has presence over 100 countries. and it's one firm per country. And we do advertising matters, marketing matters, publicity matters, obviously regarding legal issues, and it's everything. I'm gonna talk a little bit about publicity laws in Mexico, and I always say this, but we're in diapers regarding this type of matters. But I'm very present, and I'm working with firms around the globe and with companies that have matters in my jurisdiction, and that's what I do. That's what I do personally. I do more advertising and publicity matters than trademarks. But at the end, publicity goes with the trademark. Trademarks are part of the publicity. So it's on a day-by-day basis that I'm doing. It's like a 360. So it's publicity, trademarks, and the enforcement strategy. Everything comes with it.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I'm seeing more and more lawyers like you, and actually myself, being more of like strategists and having more of like business advisory roles, because legal is not just legal. You know, if you have your lawyer just focus on the law, you're missing out on so much. So I really, I'm excited to talk to you today about the law and also some of the other stuff you're doing.
For sure. Sorry to please.
No, go ahead.
No, that I think that filing and litigation, yes, it's a day by day, but we have to be working on matters or branches of law that have something to do with intellectual property, because that's the future. Sometimes at the past, everybody was doing filing. You worked in some firms that did filing, just filing, and they didn't do litigation at the end. But obviously, litigation enforcement is the next, it was the next upcoming. And I think now, yes, you need to do filing. Yes, you need to do litigation, but you have to find those branches of law that have something to do with intellectual property. And I'm talking about publicity law, advertising law, even regulatory stuff. In Mexico, the FDA hears, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the authorities in Mexico, but in Mexico, our Mexican FDA, which is COFEPRIS, if you want to promote or publicize any type of product in different certain venues, like certain in any venue, even internet, you need a publicity permit from them. So wow. it brings a lot into the equation, that you're not doing just things with the Mexican PTO, you're not doing things just with. So it's a lot of authorities that I will tell you a little bit about when we're talking about what we're doing.
Yeah, so we can just dive right in, and also we can take questions. There's a bunch of people in here watching. I'll watch for the questions. But basically, you know, is there a law in Mexico that regulates publicity?
There's not. Unfortunately, there's not. We don't even have guidelines. Like I told you, we're in diapers regarding publicity law. So we have to go through different venues and different authorities and different laws, depending the case. For example, I have to go to the Consumer Protection Agency. We had a case of a very big French makeup company that is all over the place with a big S, and there was a complaint by a user, and then the complaint went into an influencer, which is something that we have to talk about right now. And the influencer made it a trending topic, and then they were saying that all of the mascaras and all of the lipsticks were out of date. But at the end, and you would know more of this than me, but not all of the products go out of date regarding makeup products. So we had to go to the Mexican Consumer Protection Agency, because there was a complaint, and we had to negotiate with the authorities regarding a settlement, because if no, we were going to have issues. So that's one issue that has something to do with publicity, because it comes from a consumer review. So in the United States, you do it through the FTC. Okay, in Mexico, we don't have anything. You have to establish what is the venue on where you're going to do it. So this was a thing before the Consumer Protection Agency, which is Profeco, and we had to negotiate with them because if no, the fines were going to be very, 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 very big, or there was going to be a lot of money. The thing here is that the Consumer Protection Agency knew about the case or brought the case into them because there was a trending topic. So that we have to see exactly how publicity and how advertising and how the social media can affect us or can benefit us. And that's a clear case on a case that was heard before the Consumer Protection Agency in Mexico.
Now, is there any new laws or like new authorities? Was that a past case? Has that changed since then?
There's a past case. That's a past case, but there's a new law on publicity. And before I get to that, you can have the possibility of going through the Mexican Consumer Protection Agency, which is Profeco. You can go, and the case can be heard by the Mexican FDA, which is COFEPRIS. Like I was mentioning, if there is a product that is being sold in Instagram and you do not have a permit to sell that specific product, the Mexican health law establishes certain products that have to be sold with a permit from COFEPRIS. And I can tell you, cigarettes, alcohol, medical devices, those products need a permit. If you don't have a permit, there can be fines, there can be issues that can affect you, and obviously, if you don't see like the legend or the number from the Mexican FDA, you are selling something it's a red flag. And everything came up like in COVID or in the pandemic. The venue where publicity was being done in a day by day was social media. So if you saw a person selling the healing product of COVID, obviously, if they didn't have a permit from the Mexican FDA, that was a red flag, and there was an issue there, you know. So it comes as a second authority, the Mexican FDA, which is COFEPRIS, for publicity and advertising matters. Then you have the Mexican PTO. If there's unlawful competition issues, we had a case. The biggest Mexican cinema company, which has a joint venture with Bowtie Cinemas in the United States, just so my American friends know a little bit, but there's one in Chelsea. They had an issue where there was a third party that was promoting an app that sold the product through an app that was much better than my client's app. So there was people going through that app, acquiring the tickets, and going to the cinemas and using that app to go into the movies. So what happened there? The issue was there. We filed an unlawful competition issue, an unlawful competition claim, adding a trademark infringement action because they were using trademarks from my client. And at the end, when we sat down with the other party to negotiate, the guy was 16 years old. And he was like this person that had no idea. In Mexico, if you go and you are infringing a copyright matter, you can go through a criminal venue. So the kid could have gone to jail.
Wow.
So when I sat down with him, he didn't even know about what was happening.
Oh my gosh.
So it's interesting.
So you just like mentioned, and like to recap for anyone
sorry.
Like there's so many different agencies. So it sounds like this is like a holistic strategy that you guys have to do, which is not cheap, right?
Not cheap. Mexico, if you have a litigation in Mexico, if it's 10, in the United States it's 100. Wow. But obviously United States is much more expensive than Mexico. But yes, and you have to have a lot of imagination. So if you want to go and try to stop with the cancer, maybe you even file a criminal action. If you want to go and do a trademark action, you go before the Mexican PTO. If you want to do something and try to negotiate and something not very blood, like there's not a lot of blood in the litigation, you go to the Consumer Protection Agency. And the Mexican FDA also is a very open authority. And obviously there's civil actions as well, because there's moral damage.
So how are brands affected by the permit? If they're selling to Mexican consumers, could they be required to have a permit?
Who? Sorry, Francesca?
United States brands that are selling on Instagram.
They may have an issue if they're selling the product in Mexico. So at the end, you have to do clearance regarding what they're selling. We do at the firm a lot of influencer contracts. Again, I'm going to go to the influencers, because in influencers, we don't have anything in Mexico. Everything comes down to a contract. Everything comes down to a contract. So we should have guidelines that prevent the influencers or the brands or the brand owners of what is going to be their liability if there is something that may have issues. So I'm knocking in doors with the Mexican Congress to try to get guidelines that establish exactly what the influencers have to do in a day by day if they're advertising in Instagram, if they're advertising in TV, but I think the issue is social media. Social media, when pandemic started, that was what everybody was doing, publicity, and people started getting money out of publicity. You did webinars, I did webinars, and I'm getting business out of it. So it's the same thing. It's no. Everybody was sleeping. Everybody was sleeping through pandemic, and we were doing webinars, and we were doing those. We were being up in a day by day, bringing things to the scene, and I think it's very important. But I think that our next step in Mexico is to try to get guidelines regarding the use of social media. I'm not saying a law. A law is very broad.
Yeah.
But I'm saying guidelines so we can see exactly what we are talking about, or what is the liability regarding the influencers, because at the end there's just a contract and everything comes down to a contract. It's not like, and our Consumer Protection Agency, which is your FTC, does not go against the influencers. I go and see that there's a case that they go against the influencer because they used a claim that is misleading, and and in Mexico it doesn't happen. Why? Because there's not a big team at the Mexican Consumer Protection Agency, or maybe there's a big team, but they think that it's not relevant. And I think it should be relevant, no?
Oh, completely. And you know what? It could be that the people who just are making the rules aren't using social media, but it's going to change. I think, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. It's winter in where I am and where a lot of people are, and people are going to be on their phones. This model isn't going anywhere. Influencers are only the influencer market is only getting bigger and bigger. So it's not just like the Gigi Hadids anymore. Like, there's legal influencers, there's doctor influencers. So, but we're not seeing, it's kind of similar.
We have you as a legal influencer.
Not yet. But
yeah, we do.
So interesting too is so what I struggle with is that last year I was focusing and trying to tell lawyers and professionals, get on social media. I'm now telling people, get into the metaverse, get into NFT. Yeah. So it's like, I feel that governments and bureaucracies and the law and professionals, like professionals like lawyers, are really, really, really behind on a lot of the technology, and the tech gap is only getting bigger and bigger. So while influencers are a problem, it's with TikTok and Instagram, there's influencers right now in some of the blockchain social media how are they going to regulate that?
Everything,
And
yeah.
now, Jose, you can actually, like, if you wanted to do an event, a webinar in some of these apps, people can flip you tokens and you can actually get paid. So like, how is that all gonna work? It's just a very evolving, it's all evolving and it's all happening. So it's great that you're first in this space and you're lobbying and advocating, because it's all of us are figuring out how do we apply the laws to these new mediums and trying to figure this stuff out.
No, and if you don't go through that, if you don't do that things and you don't start to innovate, you're dead at the end. Like you mentioned, obviously the influencers is something that is in a way new, but it's going out. You have the NFTs, the metaverse, you have other blockchains, you have a lot of things that you have to be working on. And if you want to succeed in IP law, you have to be working on branches of law that have a relationship with intellectual property and trademarks. Like I was telling you, publicity law. There's a new law in Mexico that it's called the new law on transparency regarding publicity matters.
Okay.
It's a law. It's a law that it involves the media hubs, the announcers, and the agencies. And at the end, these companies, these three economic agents, like the law establishes, there's always a relationship between them, but they don't talk with each other regarding the all of the if I want to acquire publicity, I do it from the agency to the media company, and then I go to the announcer. That is not happening anymore in Mexico. They're trying to do a transparency law. So obviously the law is made with is a law that has 13 articles. The law is horrible. And the problem here is that an influencer, for example, can be considered a media hub, because obviously the influencer is announcing the product.
Oh, yeah.
So it can be considered a media hub, or even a football team. If I'm a football team and I'm publicizing different types of brands, I can be considered a media. So this law goes against constitutional rights, obviously, commercial rights, labor rights. It goes against our USMC, which is our NAFTA, new NAFTA treaty between Mexico, United States, and Canada. And they did it from one day to another. And you can't imagine how our clients, for 7 months, my team and myself, we were working on doing new contracts, changing the incorporation or the object of the company, the way they're established in Mexico. And we were filing injunctions.
Wow.
Because obviously it goes against human rights and constitutional rights. So publicity may be on diapers, like I mentioned, in Mexico, but it's moving. And an influencer, I believe, can be considered a media outlet. We don't know exactly how the enforcement of the law will be, because it will start to be, it came into force a couple of months ago, but I see the competent authority, which is the antitrust authority in Mexico, very quiet and very sleepy. So I haven't seen what's happening or in their reactions regarding the same. But I believe that we have to be prepared as IP attorneys on what's going to happen on publicity matters. And like I told you, it's a very fun branch of law in Mexico, because you have to have a lot of imagination.
I love that you call that fun. For me, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm stress free, so don't worry.
I like the US. Oh, that's my spot. That's my one jam.
Yeah. And here in Mexico, you have these possibilities of going through different authorities and different venues. Like I told you, you can go to the Consumer Protection Agency, you can go to the Mexican FDA, even the Mexican PTO, which is the same as the USPTO, but in Mexico, civil courts, like I told you, moral damage, even criminal issues for defamation. So everything comes to equation, and it's very broad in Mexico. That's why I told you, like I told you, we don't have anything, but we have everything, you know?
No, I love that. So it's really important to work with people who are like holistic. It comes down to just being like an advocate and like being a good creative lawyer. I think a lot of people forget that creativity in law is one of the most important things. And if you hire a lawyer who's like, I only do this and that's all I do, well, then how are you going to be able to spot all the issues? And like, I made a joke that like the USPTO is my jam because I do a lot of trademarks, but when all of a sudden a client's trademark is being infringed, you know, okay, where are they being sold? If they're sold on Amazon, let's do the Amazon takedown. Let's send them a demand letter. We can sue them federally. We can sue them. We could maybe contest some of their trademark registration. There's so many different things that speaking holistic, I talk about this a lot, like being a holistic lawyer and more of a strategist and understanding, I think that's really critical. And so you've been doing that, and it's awesome that you're knocking on doors of Congress trying to advocate.
Obviously, but you have to do it. In Mexico, you can know the law, but you have to know the people as well, because there's cases that you win them talking to the authorities, talking to the Congress. So it's important to do that. You would be amazed of how many cases come into our firm that it's because the other firm didn't know what to do. We don't do that. And I'm gonna be very honest, because nobody's here and nobody's listening to us. But there's cases that arrive to my email which I have no idea what to do. In a way, because there's something new. I think it's an e-commerce company. They have an issue with.
I think that's true, and but again, like you are in the best position to handle it. It's the same thing with like the NFT space. You know, people come to me and they're like, well, what do I do? What are we doing? But you have to look to the existing law and how do we advocate for it. If there's something needs to be changed, like you're saying, there's ways to lobby, there's ways to network, you know, just being creative and positioning yourself with experts like you, Jose. So I do want to ask you, like, if US brands as well, because there's a lot who follow me, if they do sell in Mexico and they do want to be protected and wanted a strategy or had problems, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, on my email for sure. I'll send it to you guys, but it's maybe I can put it on the commentary, or maybe you can post it later on.
Francesca. I'll post it.
Yeah, for sure. But or even on my Instagram, it's JAROCHI. Whatever they need, it's something that I can assist them, and I'm always 24/7 on the internet, on the social media. I think our business is about timing, and sometimes the cases come to you, and if you're not in the right time at the right moment, the case goes to the other part, to the competition. It's like a cake. The cake, we divide the cake. So that's IP and related branches of law in my jurisdiction, and I think in all of the jurisdictions. So I think you have to be very conscious about it. What I can tell you is that if your clients have any type of presence in Mexico, it's important to see their contracts. Obviously, if they're established in Mexico, how are they established? And what is their day-to-day? Because there is different laws that may affect even privacy matters that come with publicity matters. If I want to do a sweepstake and I'm using information or data from third parties, how am I using that data? What am I gonna do with that data? So everything comes in a bulk. So it's not about IP, just IP. IP comes with marketing, publicity, privacy, everything. And I think if you and myself and our colleagues do not innovate and do not expand their horizons regarding what they're doing, they're gonna die.
I always say that. And that's why, like, it's not enough just to be a trademark attorney. It's not enough just to be a copyright attorney. You can, but it's really important that everyone understands the tangential issues. You don't have to be an expert in everything, but just understanding and keeping your ear to the ground. And Jose, thank you so much for coming on here today, because I think it is
Oh, my pleasure.
for
Thank you
everyone
very
to
much.
hear. And now I'm going to know, like, if I have a client that's expanding into Mexico, okay, that my ear's going to go up, and I'm going to want to, you know, have them talk to you just to
Thank
make
you very
sure
much.
that they don't get sued.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for the time, and congratulate you for this space that you have. I think you've done something very different, and
Oh,
different is good. You're doing something totally different, and congratulations for it.
thank you so much. Okay, well, we'll have to do an updated one. If you hear any updates on this, we'll come back on and hop on.
For sure. Thank you
Okay.
very much for your time, and please let us know when the new baby comes.
Oh, new baby's gonna be here any day.
You look perfect.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you, Jose. Okay, bye everyone. Bye, Jose.
Bye. Bye. Bye.